Joe, could you explain just a little bit more, like what is Mautic?
Okay, and what's Mautic? So Mautic is a marketing automation suite and it delivers powerful marketing automation. It does nurturing leads, personalization, emails, building campaigns, just like the enterprise platforms, such as obviously the likes of HubSpot, Mautic, and others what you've heard of. So it really delivers from an open source perspective all the features and all the feature rich of everything that you'd expect in a marketing solution.
So you mentioned it's like the other big corporate marketing solutions. What are the key differences you would say comparing Mautic to say HubSpot, Sugar Market, etc., etc.?
Good, yeah, good question. Well, firstly, it's open source. Okay, so it's open source, what means you have incredible flexibility and potentially save costs because you're not paying for proprietary tools such as, like I said, the Mailchimp, Social Market, Active Campaign, Cameo, Marketo, HubSpot. There's so many, it's unbelievable out there, but you're getting all of the features of those tools without sacrificing features behind a paywall where you have to pay extra for something. So that's kind of it. You also with Mautic, because it's open source, you can download it on your own servers. So data sovereignty is massive, and we'll come into that in a minute. But it's massive in Mautic that you can host it on your own servers. But yeah, that's what I would say if I was asked that question.
Okay, cool. I think it's time to dive right in
Okay.
and let's just get our hands dirty in Mautic.
Okay.
Do you want to put a disclaimer out there to everyone watching? Because it is live, there may be some little bit technical issues only because it is just a demo system. So there's no live data. So there may be some things that may take a little bit of time to load, but again, because it's live, we might encounter those things. But fingers crossed, hopefully not.
Okay. So we're going to share our desk and our screens. We're going to go through some records, understand what they look like, explain the differences, and anything we can show you and discover more. We have got Q&As going on, so if you have any questions or anything, please ask away. We have Brad and Emily from our marketing team on there, so they use Mautic, so they are very proficient of being able to explain what the major differences are. Okay. So let's share our screens and go from there. And hello, Raphael, as well. Share screen. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see a record at the moment. Okay, so well, like I said, we're going to go straight into the best features of Mautic. What me and Nord think are the best features, because there are so many features on the Marketing Suite, but what we think are the best features. I mentioned a moment ago data sovereignty. And it's becoming massive in marketing and CRM in any kind of world is where is your data being hosted? Where is your data sitting around this world? And yes, lots of people say AWS and everything else, but the beauty about Mautic is that you can choose. You can choose. You can host Mautic on your own servers, on your own stack. You can put it up in Azure, AWS. You can then go to Mautic direct, or you can speak to us. We have Mautic on Enable Cloud for the UK customers. So there's lots of different aspects, but really when we look at data, Mautic is about kind of keeping it in the place where you need it to be. So if you had, I don't know, certain securities, maybe in the Middle East, you can host Mautic there quite happily, where you can't do for the other proprietary systems where you're bound to where they want you to be. Okay.
Perfect. I think that's a really good thing about Mautic is that data sovereignty and actually owning your data if you wanted to host it due to security reasons. I think one of my great features about Mautic that I love is the heat map and be able to see what part of your email is getting the most attention and what
Yeah.
part of the email is maybe lacking the most attention and maybe not actually needed anymore. I think it's a good way to for a marketer or for a whole marketing team to see what is working and what isn't working with your marketing, what is catching people's eyes and what isn't catching people's eyes. And I think that can really help plan your future campaigns going forward.
Yeah, the heat map is really good. If you go to a Mautic system and you go down to emails, The heat map is actually in the email itself. So it'll be just, this is a dummy email, but if you go up to the top right on the options, you can click on heat map. It brings up a kind of a view of that email you're sending out, and it will give kind of that kind of cold to hot scenario of how far someone got around the page or where they clicked on what links, etc. And it is really powerful in that aspect because not many marketing tools actually have this, to be honest here. Not that I'm aware of. So it is a really cool feature. Um, Tell me a bit more about A/B testing. Show me about A/B testing. What do you mean by A/B testing?
So when it comes down to A/B testing, I think more to do it great because it allows you to select your emails on the fly, and also if you have any templates, you can. So when it comes down to A/B testing, if you have, if you want to see which type of email works better, having that A/B testing to see, for these groups of people that send out, so example one that maybe has a video, where in example two it doesn't have a video. You can then see, is the video enticing people more to click it and actually view it and learn more about whatever you're trying to market,
Yeah.
rather than maybe they just like to read a quick email, see all the points, and then just go straight for it. I think A/B testing is really good for that. And I think Mautic supports A/B testing in a very user-friendly way.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I think A/B testing is something what we personally don't do enough of as an enable. We need to do it better. But Mautic does have all those features to enable us to make sure that we're sending the right emails out to the right groups of individuals. So one the other one is tracking. Everyone thinks about tracking URLs. What Mautic does in tracking, any kind of link, what it's actually put into an email or into a marketing message or a channel will automatically track. So if somebody clicks on it, you'll automatically know that they clicked on it. And then if you have, and we'll go into campaigns in a minute, but if you had a campaign what was maybe alerting someone or someone's just maybe clicked on an email, you could do so. So it does get really quite powerful in that aspect on that click mapping. So we've just gone through kind of quickly through four different kind of scenarios. But let's choose another one. Go for it. What one? What did you say?
I think another good thing about Mautic is the placeholder tags. I think in the email that you showed, example, which if I quickly if I load up the click map again, you can see here that we have hi and then curly brackets contact field equal first name. I think having the ability to just pull data out from the record of the contact or the lead, and making that email more personalized, I think is just a great feature at all. I love it so much. I think it saves a lot of time for our marketing team where they're able to produce a nice email, but instead of writing John, Adam, anything like that in the email subject, it just automatically does it for you. You can even put in like your signature, like for this email, for example, it's automatically going to put in the signature of who's sending it.
Yeah.
So it's more about saving time, and I think that's why I love it more because it gives you time back in the day to do other things and let the marketing system do what it's meant to do and automate things.
That's really cool. The other thing about that tagging, that field tags, Mautic doesn't have any any kind of limitations to the amount of fields you can put in. So if you had your own custom fields, maybe you were asking for an interest or something like this, you could create the field and use that data to populate an email. So it's just not the default fields that you can use in the marketing tags. You can also use custom as well, and you can do this all yourself. It's all no code, low code in that aspect. Okay, the next one is multiple dashboards. You're going to have multiple dashboards inside Mautic. So in my case here, you can see we've got a dashboard showing. This one here, sorry. Dashboard showing, and we can see obviously the dashboard and all the stats. In this case, we've got it in dark mode. So Mautic, you can have preference and have decide what modes you've got. But we can see certain information coming through here, certain stats, and we can get an understanding of what the actual dashboard is about. We can also change the parameters of the dashboard, use quick filters if we wanted to understand maybe just yesterday's components. We can add new widgets. And we can also import and choose multiple dashboards, like I said. So if there was another dashboard you wanted, you could simply just preview it and it would then go underneath, and we could then go to the next actual dashboard. So you see it's previewed here, what we could then deploy and actually come through to it. So it's really quite powerful in that aspect, and having the data at my fingertips and be able to drill down and choose what data I want to see at the right times. That comes down to permissions and security, because you don't want every single person having that data. You only want certain users having that data. So if we go into Mautic and we go into roles, we have a complete role management inside of Mautic, allowing people to have certain permissions on what they can see and what they can do. The reason why I find this quite applicable is because I may want to create a user for every single one of my employees, but I don't want them maybe accessing the system, or if they do access the system, I may only want them to get to the reports. I don't want them to be breaking my campaigns or my emails. So I can just give them access to the reports so they can see the components or see their contacts, but they can't see anything else. So the rules is really quite powerful because you can do exactly that, and you can take it really quite granular when we actually look at the actual roles that we got here. Okay.
Yeah. Raphael, I can see you asked a question in the chat. We're currently using version 5.2.2 currently right now. I think at the start of this week, Mautic just released version 6.
Yeah, 6 has just come out. So yeah, we will be coming up to 6 quite shortly. But we're just obviously doing some testing on the internals before we roll it out to our cloud. Okay. That's a good sign to come to integrations.
Perfect. So a good thing about Mautic, and also that's open source, it allows a lot of third-party integrators and also other applications like certain CRM systems or even other, I forgot what it's called.
ERP? What are you trying to? I don't know what you're trying to get to here.
Social media, that's what I meant,
Perfect.
sorry.
Go.
And other social medias as well. Because of that API access and the integration access is amazing. There's a wide range of documentation to how to use the Mautic API, and it's quite simple to use. I mean, it's not everything. In-house here at Enable, we built an integration with Mautic into our CRM system and made a product that people can
Yeah.
sell to integrate it. So, the marketing team and the sales team are aligned and will work better together to to bring in better leads and just communicate what is going out. So I think that is a really good thing that a lot of other marketing tools like HubSpot and Sugar Market and everything like that, you kind of get restricted on.
Yeah, you kind of get restricted on the ones that they want you to use rather than opening it up. And I suppose that's where Mautic comes into it, because it is available. We have a product called Enable Flow, so it's an integrations kind of platform. But you've also got the likes of Zapier and Make.com, and they have endpoints as well. So it kind of opens it up that you don't have any limits to the API. So you're not paying extra for the API. It's part of obviously Mautic. It's open source. So you can really get it to be the heart and the soul of the marketing automation routing. And this could be internal or it could be external. I'm talking about external all the time, but we have some customers, some big customers who use Mautic for their internal newsletters, internal conversations. But because the way that Mautic's built, it can be B2B, B2C, or internal, like I said. Okay. So one of the other things, we're on point 9 now. We've gone 8, we believe. Organization. So folder structure. So in Mautic, you may have multiple different brands. Like us, we have enable.services, we have enable flow, what I spoke about. We sell Sugar, Espo, Monday, we have local support. So because we have all of those different kind of Fulton groups, our marketing team wants to make sure that we put them in the right place, we folderize it, and we have the tools. So Mautic kind of gives you that ability to have those kind of different folder structures and actually say that somebody has a different category or categories are X, and you can see someone here what we've done and color code them as well to be able to make sure that you're visually seeing the actual data in the right place, as well as obviously just knowing where the data is. Okay. Our last point is on our 10.
Dynamic content. I pretty sure I said before, placeholder tags was my favorite feature. I'm gonna change that and say dynamic content is because I before I even knew about Mautic and I told what dynamic content was, I didn't really understand it. But once I started using it, I feel like it's amazing. It allows you to essentially customize one email depending on a certain particular group of people. As in, like, let's say you've got a group of people that in fact are interested in transport, while you have another group of people that are interested in maybe private transport. So you've got
Yep.
public transport and private transport, but you just want one email that maybe explains everything that you're trying to market, but you maybe want to just change a bit of the data to so it's more pointed towards the public transport people or the private transport people. And you would just do that within the email builder, selecting a filter. So let's say you have a filter interested in. All the people that are interested in public transport will see this block of text that explains, oh, this is what we're going on public transport. Well, if they're interested in private transport, you can then have that block of text changed for only those people interested in private transport to say, here's what we got going on about private transport, for example. And I think it's a nice way to just work on one email instead of having multiple different emails to making sure it goes out to all your client base depending on what they like. I think it allows you to have that customization, which is amazing. But also it gives you that freedom of you can all just do it on one email template. You don't need to, duplicate it, change it, duplicate that one, change that one for another one. An example. And as you can see on Joe's screen, he is now building a dynamic content block where in the first section it was the default block. So this is what it would just show on the email defaultly if no one matched the filter. But here we can see he's now making another variation one, and he's looking at the industry and he's making sure the industry equals transport. And then if their industry equals transport, they will then see what Joe is typing in this block of text. So logistics is,
I don't know. I'm stopping just in case I insult anyone here. Okay,
but
I'm stopping there.
logistics is, and then
Yeah.
we'll leave it like
But
that.
this could be images, it could be videos. You might want to insert video media. Sorry, you can really pick and choose, and you can have multiple different variations here. So we just variation two. So the same email but different content for the person who receives it. So it looks like you're kind of branding it to what their interests, their specialized obviously content. That could be using your CRM data, pulling through to the marketing, pulling it through to obviously through to Mautic. So we keep on talking about CRM data. We've built an integration between Sugar CRM and Mautic, and that's the one that we use personally. Okay. So let's come out of this and let's go back into emails and start over it. And let's play. So like I said, we're gonna do this live, me and Nord. So we could go wrong, so hopefully we don't, but we may do. So we're going to go from an import simple campaign. So importing that data into Mautic. Then we're going to show you just how to send an email. Start with nice and easy, no harm. Okay, so the first thing you do is create a segment. So we want to put it somewhere. We don't want to just put your data so it's just loose and it's kind of orphaned nowhere. So we're going to call this I don't know, Joe's perfect data. Listen, data is never perfect, but we're going to put perfect data. Okay. We can put a description of what it is and where we found it. Maybe maybe we inherited this or purchased this list, or maybe, like I said, it's imported or exported from the CRM. And at this point, for this one, we're just going to save and close. That's it.
I think so. But before you save and close quickly, I just want to also explain as well, the option to, let's say you have all your contacts in Mautic.
Yep.
I think if you then want to now filter down your contacts really important, maybe you haven't already made the segment and you've just imported it all into the system.
Yeah.
The good thing about segments in Mautic is you can build those filters on the fly. So there's a filters tab, and here you'll be able to filter down any field on contacts and also any fields regarding company as well. So let's say,
Can you do just on the curiosity? Can you do it on obviously people's how people have reacted to your emails in the past? Can you do it so people who have clicked or looked at my email in the last kind of 5 days or something?
yeah. So if we scroll down further,
Oh, right.
we can see here if they've read a specific email, if they've read any email during a certain date, if they've been sent an email, visited any website during a certain date, visit a landing page, you can really filter down your data to very fine buckets
So
to
it
get
comes into
that
personalization more.
proper personalization. And
Yeah.
I think I think not many people know about these extra features down at the bottom when it comes to filters and segments because maybe they haven't scrolled that far down. I mean, you have to go past the whole account
Every
section
single
bit,
field and
every
everything
single
else,
field.
yeah.
And I think this bit down here is very useful. It does say download a specific asset. If it was a certificate, for example, they download a certificate that got off your website. Maybe you want to be like all the people that completed level 2 of
XYZ.
marketing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, got you. Yeah. So it's really interesting because obviously this is for data, the segmentation. I'm talking about it from a simple one, kind of a Mautic. Let's go for Mautic blast it all. So I'm talking about Mautic, but what Nor's talking about is if the data is already there and you've been marketing to these people for a multiple amount of time, you can obviously create new segments based on the existing data, and it's just an easy filtering tool with an and or statement. Right hand side. Again, we can see the categories, so we can add a new category if we wanted to. We may want to put demo, and you can see I can choose my colors and everything else. The categorization, put them in folders. This preference center here is quite important as well. So when we have opt-outs, opt-ins, etc., when people go into our emails, we can send them to a preference center where they can pick and choose what target lists they can opt out of and what they can't opt out of, because it may be contractual information that you just don't want them to be able to opt out of, for instance.
And I also think as well, the preference center is how Mautic incorporates it into your marketing. I think it's very easy. I've seen our marketing team use it quite well. And I think it's better than just using a normal unsubscribe link because let's say, for example, I mean, today I got an email from HelloFresh. I love HelloFresh, don't get me wrong, but I don't want their emails about what's going on about their company and everything like that. I just want to see what new meals they've got. And I think they use a preference center, and I was allowed to then just tick on that I want about new products, but I don't want to know about what's going on with the company. That's all. I think that's why the preference center is good in Mautic because it allows, your users or your contacts, anything like that, to select what they want to be marketed to instead of just fully unsubscribing for your marketing. Because they may not want that, but
No,
if
you don't
that's
have a
their only
choice.
option,
Yeah,
they're going
there's
to
no
click
choice.
it.
Yeah, it's a bad one, isn't it? So yeah, it is quite important preference center because I know a lot of the people who I speak to get fed up with their marketing souls when they just opt them out of everything. They lose the ability to then contact that contact. That's right, isn't it? Right, okay. So we've created Joe's perfect data. We haven't done anything else. We've categorized it. We're going to put it in marketing. That's it. We're going to save and close it. Okay, so we created our thing. We can see there's no contacts at the moment. Okay, so we can see there's no contacts. We're enabled admin. If I had multiple segments, target lists, some people call them target lists, some people call them segments, we'll be able to see them in the list. We can filter over here. And again, we can create new ones over here. So we're going to create those contacts. We're going to go to contacts. We're going to go up here to options, and we're going to go import. You can see that we've got some functions here. We'll explain what they are in 2 seconds, but we're just going to import the data. So import, we're going to browse to our local machine, and we've got some mock data in our case. And you can see that we can limit it to a certain amount of records, to limit it, enclosure, escape it, just in case you've got data maybe in text or data in maybe SQL, MySQL, etc.
Yeah, depending on how the data was exported out, you may need to customize some of these settings. But the limit one is it's just how many do you want Mortis to import at a certain time. So let's say if you have a CSV with 10,000 contacts in, it'll do 100 at a time. So then it doesn't freeze or break anything. But of course, you can change that limit. Give Mortis a little stress test. I think the most limit I've done was 5,000, and it did pretty well.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to upload this. This is going to give us who our contact owner. In this case, we're going to be enable admin. We're going to choose Joe's perfect data for our segment. This is why I created it, so it appeared in here. Okay, so that when I import these contacts, they go somewhere. They're not orphaned. I could tag them as well. So I may have a tag, and I can create a custom tag. Maybe these are VIPs in my case. On tags, you don't need to create them from scratch. It's just a segment you do. Down the bottom here, this is looking at your header row on your CSV and saying what means what. You can see that it's trying to match some of them, but it hasn't been able to match everything. So what we can do is we can help it out and just put in the details what we can. So first name over here, last name over here. You get the idea. If there was multiple columns, multiple pieces of data, we'd have to create the fields. If the fields are not inside Mautic, you'd have to go into Studio up here, add the fields, and then they'll appear in the import. But it has kind of the basic ones that you would expect in any kind of marketing automation tool.
And there's no limit on fields either.
No,
You
there
can create as
isn't.
many fields as you want.
No, and that's on contacts as well as companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some options up here: importing background, importing browser. What do they mean? What does that mean?
So import and background, what that would do is it schedules the import, but you don't see a loading bar. It does it in the background for you, so you can still use the
So
system.
that's your 5,000.
So yes, if you had like 5,000 contacts, you didn't want your screen to be on just a loading bar for a little bit of time, depending on what you set your limit to. While import and browser, it will show you that loading bar of how quick it's importing and everything like that. So again, depending on what you want to do yourself and also how big your list is. Uh, Most of the time, I always use import and browser because I'm not importing a high lot of contacts. But yeah, the import background is pretty good because again, it allows you to multitask.
Yeah.
And I don't think any other marketing program actually allows that
No, I
from
think
what
that,
I've
I
used.
think they're importing browser the majority, aren't they?
Yeah, I
You have
think
to
they
do
are. I
that,
think you
yeah.
have to stay on that import
Yeah.
screen. You can't
No.
multitask.
So let's import. So import, we're importing about 100 here, will be? I think
Yeah,
about
it'll
100.
be 100, and then one will say ignored because that's your header row.
Yeah. So because we're in browser, we have to wait. There we go. We've done. So we just imported 100 in probably, I don't know, about 10 seconds that.
We'll be able to see. So once the data gets imported,
Yeah.
you get three options. So you can review the contacts right away, view the imports. So that will take you to a list of all records you've imported. So if
Yep.
you import stuff in the past, you'll be able to see the stats for that. Or view details of the current CSV we just imported. So if I click view details of the current CSV we imported, and if I open up the details here, we can see we get some great, but I want to say
Stats.
back end
Oh, yeah,
information about the
stats. Let's
import.
go
Yeah,
stats.
stats. Like we can see when the import started, what the runtime was, how many imports a row a second it did. So less than 1 second a row.
Yep.
It's pretty decent. The progress and also what fields were mapped, what the headers were in that actual original CSV, everything like that. And if we scroll down, we can also see obviously 100 were inserted and 1% was ignored because that was the header row.
Yeah, so if there was failed ones, it would be listed the failed ones, etc. And we'll be able to actually download and actually understand what they are. But now we've imported our contacts, we should, hopefully, touch wood, see that there's 100 against our Joe's Perfect data. So we can now see that we've got 100 contacts. These are dummy contacts. Don't worry, we're not got people's first name, last names. These are dummy contacts. And we can see who they are. We can also see campaign share here. So if you have multiple campaigns using, and we're going to campaigns in a minute, using the same target list, you'll be able to see what the campaign share is of what they are. Okay, so it's really quite cool because you may have a target list and you may be diluting it by using it over and over and over again on multiple campaigns. So it's good to know which ones are actually and how used, and I'm going to say abused, that a segment or target list is. Okay, so now they're in there. Right, so that didn't take long. If me and Nord weren't talking all the time, it would have been kind of a couple of seconds to get that import in there and create that segment. We're going to go to campaigns. Okay, so straight away we see our little man about tipping, and you'll see him around Mautic quite a lot. He's really quite helpful, to be perfectly honest here, with what he actually gives you information.
He is the Mautic man.
He is a Mautic man. He's on my Mac there. So if we go new, we're going to create a new simple campaign. Okay, and I'm just checking my spelling. We again can create a description of why we're creating this campaign. Again, we can categorize it. Here, a couple of options. Allow contacts to restart the campaign. If you have a nurture campaign or any marketing campaign, it's quite embarrassing when a contact goes in through there twice and gets the same emails twice. So obviously just be aware of this button here. Active is quite obvious. Is it active? It's not active. It can't be sent. Activate and deactivate. Do you want to go here?
I'll happy to take this one over. So activate at date and time and deactivate at a certain date and time is such a useful tool. Just for again for housekeeping. For example, let's say you have a newsletter for April. You send that out 1st of April. You set the activate 1st of April around 10 a.m. So that this campaign is going to turn on at 10 a.m. Send that newsletter out to all the people subscribed to your newsletter. Perfect. Let's say you got some new newsletter signups. If you haven't set a deactivate time and date, anyone that gets added to your newsletter segment, because this campaign is active, will receive an old newsletter,
Yeah.
which, I mean, if that was me, I'd be quite embarrassed. But that's why Mautic has factored in activated at and deactivated at a certain date and time, because it allows you to, again, it's putting that automate into marketing automation. It's going to automate turning off that campaign. So then if anyone new does join, let's say in July, they're not going to get a newsletter from 2 months ago. That is irrelevant.
Exactly. So when I'm building a campaign, I don't actually click on any of these, to be perfectly honest. It's only when I'm normally saving them. I'm quite terrible with this aspect. Okay.
You're meant to be the expert.
I know, but I am quite terrible. So we can put them active. And you can see if I press active, it then allows these to be selected. If it's not active, I can't click on it. Okay. So if I select it and I say yes, and I say it's going to close tomorrow. So you can kind of see the periods and everything else. Okay. Across the top here, we have our kind of builder. A launch campaign builder is where we're going to be going to. Okay. So straight away we get asked, are you going, use a simple campaign that I'm creating? Am I doing it from a target list, a segment, or am I doing it on the back of a form? So we could do it both ways. But in our case, on our ease of use, we're just going to contact segment. It's going to list all of our contact segments, and we can see Joe's perfect data. The reason why it's got 27 is not because there's 27 people, it's because it's segment number 27. Me and Nord would be deleting stuff as well, just in case you wonder, okay? But you may have multiple different segments here, and we can change and add to those segments. But if we press add, okay, Joe's perfect data. When we click on the plus underneath, we get three kind of different buttons come up: a decision, action, and condition. Okay. If you are just sending out that email campaign, such as Mautic in this case, you're just going to go action and you're going to go send email. There. You're going to then say what the email sent, have email 1 or email, simple email. We'll keep it in simple email in this case. We then get some options. So we get send it immediately, like kind of all the others do. Send a relative time, like quite a lot of the others do. The difference between on send relative time is that if we had this in a nurture campaign or anything else, we can say what day of the week it's going to go on, or if it's excluding or this weekdays, for instance, or how it's going to be doing, or send from a certain amount of time. Maybe you're doing this for, I don't know, education. It'd be silly to send education at lunchtime, for instance. So you want to send it between certain times, and you can do is between times, etc. There's a particular date and time is your kind of defaults where you can pick and choose. If you're sending out to hundreds of thousands of records, it's not all going to go at 3 o'clock on the 2nd. It's going to start at 3 o'clock, and it's going to batch send them emails out. The reason why it's good that it's doing that is because the emails are not identical. It means that you're not going to get caught in spam filters and things like this. So that's how Mautic works. Okay. The last one, optimal contact. This is new. This is probably one of my favorite features on the new. So what this does is it will look at your previous emails that you've sent to these contacts, or the contact you're sending it on my campaign, and it will say, okay, based on when they read it or clicked on it, I'm going to send this email at that time. So it's kind of AI in some aspects. It's looking at, it's machine learning. It's looking at the data that you've sent in the past and said, I'm going to send it at that time because that is the best time to send this email to this contact for them to open it. And you can see that there's a couple of options here, from 24 hours of optimal timing or 7 days from the best day of the week. Okay. So we can pick and choose. Okay. In our case, we're going immediately just so we can show it going out. Yeah.
So as soon as the campaign's active, it's going to go straight to this first event, which is your send email, and you have it because it's sent immediately. Exactly. It's going to send it right away.
So the good thing is we have mail trap turned on, so we're not actually going to be spamming anyone. It's just going to go to our mail trap. Okay. Mail trap is kind of a stopping tool from emails getting out.
It's basically like it's a dummy mailbox that will never see the real world.
No. So straight away, email send. What emails do you want to send? Do you want to send the generic welcome email, a test 2 free, or just create a new one? And if you create a new one, it's quite easy. It opens up and gives us the ability to actually create, if I just open it up a little more actually, gives us the ability to create the actual email. And we can, this is all from the campaign. So we can go, okay, is there a particular theme that we want to use? And if we select the theme, we can press select. We do it right. We can put custom subject, put categorizations, etc. Simple email. We could actually make the subject and put a tag in there. So hello first name, for instance, if we wanted to. And we have a builder. And the builder kind of looks like this, where we can bring in the components on the right-hand side and drag them in to where we want to actually drag them, and select the images. and rescale the images or do whatever it wants to. And this kind of gives you kind of everything, including the dynamic content down here. What me and Norm were talking about is really, really powerful. And we have lots of different components from text areas to buttons to you name it. Top left up here, these are kind of our views. If you're viewing this on an iPad, it will scale down. If you're looking on a phone, it will scale down. So it will show you if your email is scaling correctly, depending on the device that the contact or lead is receiving it.
Which saves you sending an example email to, let's say, yourself and some colleagues that maybe have different devices. The Mods Builder allows you to make the scale responsive just on the fly, which I think is great. And I think as well, the good thing about in the Mods Builder as well, even though you have this simplicity design on the right-hand side with the drag and drop, if I just hold the mouse, please, Joe. Let's say if we click into this header, for example, you can double click in and go into the more simple builder. But if we over here and click on the paintbrush, we then get more options here. So if I open up like typography and dimensions, here we can change the padding size, the font, your font size, everything like that in a more, I would say, more detailed fine tuning type of way.
Like marketing, branding, colors, and
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think that's something as well that's pretty good as well. That you can again, if I click on images, it all changes. So here I can href the image, make it clickable, add any alt text. Again, accessibility, which is great, and stuff like that. I think it's good that it allows you to fine tune certain things like that. You're not just stuck with a, let's say, predefined builder where you only get limited options.
No, you really get, and this is what I'm saying about right at the very beginning. Mautic is open source and it has all of the feature and all the feature rich of all the proprietary systems.
Yeah. And I also think as well, another good thing about Mautic is, let's say if you know about HTML code,
or you might be using an outsourced marketing company.
Yeah, outsourced marketing company that maybe send you HTML code for your emails. You can just go straight into the code and modify it, and it will be live on that email behind you, and you'll be able to see that change and everything like that. And then if you do something wrong, again, you at the top here you have an undo button and a redo button, just in case you can always go back.
Really, really powerful, as you can see. Very easy to create these kind of these email templates. You can change them, pick and choose, double click, takes you into the readers, and you've got loads of little GUI kind of scenarios. If you've got an image, click on it. We do have an asset library inside of Mautic, so you can obviously put your different components and different logos in to understand what you're doing. But once you're happy, you press the big tick at the top and apply the changes. So apply the changes and then saves it, and we can save and close. And then we got our simple email. So we're back into campaigns. We didn't come out of campaigns. We went from campaigns into emails and back into it. And you can see simple campaign, and we can see what's the difference between transactional and marketing. Can you just explain what that means for me?
So if it's transactional,
yeah,
it's more like backwards and forth communication.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming I'm not a marketer, but that's what I assume it is.
Yeah.
And then marketing is just like a standard marketing where I guess you're not expecting a reply back. Yeah. But you're not expecting a reply back. It's sort of just like pushing information out. Where transactional, hoping our marketing team doesn't kill me for saying this. I feel like it's where you're going backwards and forth. Yeah, you're communicating.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got obviously because we're going marketing, it's going to try 3 attempts. We could be more aggressive if we wanted to, but if we just press add, it kind of creates we've got our segment, we're sending it to these people. That's it. Really, with MailChimp, that is it. That's all you do. So save it, close it, and then what we're going to do, we're going to make it active and save and close, and that will then trigger off in the background and work. It will give us a view of the actual what we're trying to do. Joe's perfect data. We're going to send it straight away. I think I put these are my actions down here of what the actual email. So if we had multiple emails that we're sending out on a campaign, it's going to come up with success complete, completed actions, pending actions, etc. The contacts who are coming through, and it's going to drive that in the background. Okay. Also, upon people coming in and maybe they're clicking around, they're reading my emails, I can then look at a heat map as well, or a map, sorry, not a heat map, a territory map of what exactly someone's doing. So it's very easy to actually get that kind of information to actually understand what that is. Okay.
So as we can see here, under where it says simple campaign, it says not started yet. That is because Joe, as he was, thank God he did, he set a active at and deactivated that. As you can see, it's now cleared out. I've cleared that out, so the email will send. But we can see now there's now a red warning banner just to let you know that this campaign is currently published, so it is active. Modifying the campaign or removing anything will affect the current contacts mid-campaign. So that's usually how you can tell when a campaign is actively running. But if you click cancel for me, Joe,
Yep.
we can now see if you click into your simple campaign, we can now see it says instead of that blue text saying not started yet, we can now see it says active. And then once this email starts popping out again in this bottom bit, if you click on contacts for me, Joe, we'll be able to see what contacts have actually been sent or are going through this campaign actively. Give it some a little bit of time again because it is on our staging server. It may take a little while, but usually once the campaign is set, you're able to see all the contacts that ran through the campaign, what percentage of actions they took. So if you have like decision actions in there, you'll be able to see what percentage took the yes path, what percentage took the no path, everything like that. But we'll go more into detail once we reach that stage.
Yeah, and this goes all the way down, not just on the campaigns or the emails themselves, but to the people as well. So this is obviously mine. This is a dummy record of me, okay, Jose Bushnell. But if I go into the record themselves, you can see that I can see, yes, I can see all the fields, I can see all socials, I can see devices that I'm actually what I've been playing or accessing our emails on. But I can also see stats, so I can see who are my supporters, who are my brand ambassadors, and who do I want to actually interact with. And I can again use segmentation to pull this data through and obviously send it to these people as well. So it's really easy to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into a simple campaign and we're going to make it a little bit more difficult. So we're going to clone it, because obviously that other one was active. So again, if we clone it, it's gone to inactive. I'm just going to save this and call this a little bit nurture campaign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking not simple campaign.
No, no,
just to add on to the little duplication.
Nurture, let's go nurture. Okay. Right. Okay. Nurture campaign. So we're going to launch campaign. Obviously, we've got our first bit. So in this case, we're not going to send it straight away. Okay, we're going to send it at a particular date and time or relative time period in this case. So if we're on a nurture campaign, the likelihood someone's going to be added from meeting a criteria. Have they met a criteria in your CRM? Are they being imported in? And because they're being imported in maybe from an event, they've hit a certain campaign or criteria to actually allow the actual data to come in.
Also, as well, maybe they've reached a certain amount of points. Maybe
Yes.
they've interacted with your marketing so much they're a hot lead, and you wanna keep them hot. You want to keep them interested.
Exactly. So we can pick and choose what these criteria are, how when they're getting the actual data. So we're going to say between 3 and 4, that this is going to go out on a weekday. We're not going to send simple email. We're going to pick and choose maybe a generic welcome email in our case, and we may have predefined emails that marketing have created or I've created in the background. Upon doing so, I can update it. That's going to create my kind of wait one day, put Joe's data or my segmentation data, wait one day. We're then going to create some conditions, our decisions, okay? And our decisions are if somebody opens the email. So if they, oh God, is it open?
It is
Okay,
open.
it opens
Here
email.
comes
So,
here comes
here
the
we go.
spelling.
I was going to say my word. Opens email in one day. Let's go one day. Let's give them 2 days. Let's be nice. Okay. So opens email in 2 days. You can see that we now kind of got this little branch. You can see that I can pick and mess these around, but opens email in 2 days. We have a positive and a negative. One's green and one's red. So if I come from the green, I'm making it because they have done it. If I go from the red, it's because they haven't opened them in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I click on that, you can see I could have another action. So if they haven't opened the email in 2 days, what do I want it to do? And that could be send another email. This is a typical nurture. Send email 2. And then we can choose how many days, etc., choose our weekdays, choose what the email is, and this time we'll go simple and choose add. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can see here, so putting all the people from the segment list. It's waiting 1 day. It's then going to send out our first email, and then we've got to check. I'm here in this check. We're going either it matches the check or doesn't match the check. So here we're saying they haven't opened the email. Within 2 days, we're then going to send our second email. But let's say they have opened the email
And they clicked.
and they clicked. So we can go in here. We're able to do a condition. So let's say we have something that if they've clicked a link on our email, maybe it updates the contact record.
Yep.
And from here, we're able to do contact field value, and we're able to select a field on that record. So let's just do points, for example. Let's say that if they click that link, they've gained 5 points.
Yep.
Because everyone starts with 0 points. Let's say it's greater than, and then we'll just say 4, for example, if we add that in. We then get this little orange box where it's filtering now to see what points do those contacts have? Do they have more than 4 points? If they do, again, we get the green option. If they don't have more than 4 points, again, we can do the red option. And again, from there, we can then branch out more. So let's say if they have less than points, maybe they send out another email. Let's get them engaged with our marketing. Let's get their points up. If they have, let's say, more than 4 points, what do we want to do next? Then from there, we can do a check to see if they visit a certain website. If they have, let's say they visit our Mautic
Yeah.
landing page on our website, we can see, okay, they're interested in Mautic. Then we can then tailor our nurture often in that Mautic side. But if they say that, let's say they clicked on, let's say, sugar, we can then do another check, see, okay, have they looked at the sugar page? If so, yes, great. Let's then target something towards them, sugar related. I think it's so the way that the multi builder is laid out and how it works, I think is really good because it's a mind flow, it's a mind map. It's like a little
Yeah.
flow.
And I suppose if you make a mistake, we've got a massive whiteboard, but it's better to write these down because, like this, I would say that's wrong. I would say that actually we wouldn't want to do that, and we'd want to go action, and we would actually want to give someone adjusted contact points and say, give them, because they open an email, give them 5 points. Okay. So you can make things a positive and a negative like this. We can also choose to go a point group. Just like we have sales stages, we can have groups within inside of Mautic.
Yeah, different point groups. Let's say if a VIP customer is in VIP point group, if they open an email, that could be 10 points against that point group.
Not only that is you may want to branch it off. So you may go, okay, we're going to give them 5 points and we're going to send another email. And this is email 2 due to opening email, previous email. Okay. And we again can choose what time and date. Maybe this is on a particular date, or if this is optimal contact, and we can choose what our email is and press add. And that's going to come down here. So we've actually got 2 positives in this case. We're going to give them 5 points because they opened the email. We're then going to send them email 2. On sending email 2, this time we're going to say, if I can spell, they've clicked on an email. Okay, and they've clicked on email, and went to website. Okay, and you can add where they're going to. So in our case, enable.services, in case you don't know who we are. Okay, so our website is www.enable.services. So anyone who clicks on that link and they go to enable.services, oh my word, I'm going to take them all the way down here, but again, we can drag this up and move these around so in our screen view. Again, because they clicked on the website, we can take them in, take them out. This could be a case of because they clicked on our website, that's the end of it. We just want to alert someone at that point.
It's email user.
Is it email user? There we go. Look, email
user.
Send email to user. Okay, so send internal. My word, this is why I'm not allowed to type. Normally ignored. Internal email. Okay, and we can say immediately. We can choose here if it's a contact. So when we import data into Mautic, you'll see that it was assigned to admin. If it was assigned to an account manager or a new salesperson.
Well, let's use you, for example. Let's say marketing, they got a bunch of leads and they want to assign it across to you. They could, if they actually, have a user in Mautic, you may not have permission to create anything, but they're assigned to you. So when they send emails out, they can tick send as contact owner. So it comes from you. So like you said, account management emails, they instead of them thinking, oh, it's just a normal marketing email from Enable, it's an email from Joe. I wonder what that's saying.
More like to get into people's inbox, I suppose. If
it's a familiar name, familiar face, they know what you like.
Yeah, that may not be a good thing for me, but yeah.
let's we won't talk about that.
Oh, we can pick and choose what the actual data is. We can send it to the email, like I said, if it's a particular user, or to the contact owner if we wanted to. It's nice and easy to do so. We can also pick and choose if there's other people we want to send this to, because it may be maybe using an outsourced marketing agency, for
Or
example.
you need to maybe notify stakeholders or something about like this has happened, anything like
Exactly.
that. So again, you're not only limited, even though it says send email to user, it's actually send email to users
Yeah,
and
and anyone
and
else.
anyone else. It's plural.
It's collaboration. That's what it is. So email to send again. Obviously, we've got our free. These are all our outgoing emails, but we want to create a new one. And in this case, it takes us to the same builder,
Yeah.
same kind of area. We can choose. For the sake of this, we're just going to go add though. Okay. And you can see now we've got this. So if they click on our website, enable.services, the end user, the employee is going to get an email. So let's go to on the top again. Segmentation target list comes in. Wait 1 day, send an email. If they open it, positive, they get 5 points. And then we're going to send them email 2. If email 2, if they click through to a tracking link called enable.services, they're going to get email 3. No, they're not. The end user, the contact person, employee, is going to get email 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can pick and choose, and you can see how we can take these down. And it could be like Nord says, because we gave them 5 points, because of that stage, we're then going to look at conditions. Or so you can really take this down, and this can be kind of it looks a little bit like a spider graph
Yeah.
sometimes of obviously stages that you can come into get to. One of my other favorite parts of here, we could get to this point, and because we got to this point, there's lots of different ones here, or lots of different options. But it could be jump to an event because they did a certain action that you want to take them to another event in the campaign and nurture game. It could be modify the contact segment. You could take them out of Joe's perfect data and put them somewhere else because they did an action, they did something where you want them to do. Or it could do, in my case, it was take them out completely, take them out of that segment because they shouldn't be getting that data anymore.
Yeah.
You've
And
got loads of different
I also think
options.
a good action as well, going back to one of the 10 points I think is good about Mautic is you see one of the actions here, it's send a webhook. So
Yes.
let's say if you, for someone that's like maybe you Slack or something like that, maybe you don't want to be alerted by email. Maybe you want to be alerted by, a Microsoft Teams message or a Slack message. If you know how to use webhooks and APIs, you can automate that. So maybe it notifies a channel so that you know that this leads visit this website. Maybe reach out, look at their journey, and everything like that. And I think that as well, most of these enterprise marketing suites don't have a functionality like that built into your campaign.
No.
It's more of an afterthought where it's in a whole other section where it's not even part of your campaign.
The campaigns in Mautic is unlike others because I wouldn't call or we are we calling it campaigns. We're talking about nurture or simple campaigns. It's an automation tool with inside a marketing suite because it can be used for so many things. It can be used for data manipulation, data cleanup, segmentation cleanup. It can be used for email correspondence and things like this, or it can be used as an internal tool
Yeah.
of telling people at certain points that they've got certain meetings or anything else. You can really open it up to do whatever you want. And that is one of the beauties about it. So we're obviously done 2 campaigns, as you can see. We've got the simple campaign and the nurture campaign. I'm just going to check on that simple campaign to see if it went out. It did. So you can see that 100 contacts were added now. So the contacts are now listed here in that simple campaign. These are our actions, so it's completed 100% of the actions. And we can preview what we're doing. If we go into the map, we'll be able to see the actual statistics. If we go actually into the emails, and that is in channels here, and we click down to emails, we can see the emails here, what was sent and obviously read. In our case, in our simple one, could be put to MailChimp, we've only got Mailtrap, sorry. We've only got one what's obviously read, but you can see the statistics of what's been coming on or what's not. And if I just move that back so we can see the graph in action. There we go. We can see obviously this is kind of how it would look and obviously show us the contacts and everyone else underneath.
Yeah.
So
And we can also see here as well, you can see at the bottom where it says click counter, no trackable links found. A good thing about the Mautic email builder, as soon as you paste the link in, you don't need to add any special code or anything like that. Mautic will automatically add tracking to that hyperlink. So you'll be able to see what people are actually clicking on, how many clicks has happened, and it also splits unique clicks and total clicks because I mean, it's 2025. Security in technology is at an all-time high because everyone wants to protect their data. A lot of email providers, like Office 365, Gmail, will have spam filtering, phishing protection, everything like that. So they will click links to make sure it's safe. And that's where Mautic thought about that and said, okay, we can split unique clicks, so actual people that have clicked the link and it's coming from a user agent that is an actual user, verifies that by I'm guessing browser ID, IP address, everything like that, and then what your total clicks are, which includes your unique clicks and also any spam filtering clicks. So you can differentiate, you know, data that has I want to say tampered with, but it's not technically tampered with, but
Real
it's
data versus
realistic
yeah,
data versus like
fake.
or fake data combined with realistic data.
Some of the other parts you can see up here show preview for contact. So if you had dynamic content, and you just wanted to show how it would look for a certain individual, you could put that individual name up there for the contacts and then preview it so you can see how that generic email comes out for certain individuals. Mautic has so many decent features, and it's kind of unheard of in the marketing suites. And this is why us as Enable are now supporting it, and we've now become a gold member of that and partner with Mautic for the UK businesses because we do believe in this product, and it is a brilliant tool for people to come and use.
And it has an amazing community. I
It
think that
does,
the fact that it's open source and the community
yeah.
collectively is pushing that cause and believes that these features shouldn't be behind a paywall, shouldn't, they shouldn't be restricted to, oh, you're the basic tier, you can get on the pro tier. I think that it should be available for everyone and they make it so user friendly. It is quite easy to pick up. I know quite daunting at the start. You look at it, it's like, oh, these flashy buttons, what do I do? But once you get in the flow of it and the hang of it, it really shows you could do a lot with Mautic.
Yeah, definitely. And a big shout out to Ruth, who leads the Mautic kind of community and leads that project, that open source project, because she does so much and doesn't get the reward and the recognition she deserves. So big
100%.
shout out to Ruth there. So how are we doing? Have we got questions? Any questions here?
Yes, we have one question from Andrew
Yep.
regarding can information that is sent back from a transaction email update fields in Sugar? So Andrew, depending on how the campaign is set up and what information is extracted from, with the integration that we have with Sugar, we can sync custom fields from Mautic to fields in Sugar. It's just going more in detail about what you want to bring across. But if that's something you're looking to, Andrew, I'm happy to reach out and get some more details about your
Get
question.
James
But
to actually, yeah, get
oh
James on.
yeah, get James, your account manager, sorry, get him to reach out and we'll find out more about if there's something that you're looking into. But essentially, yes, with our integration with Sugar and Mautic, you're able to sync across fields, even custom fields to custom fields in Sugar, and then that just comes standard as
Natural
our
back.
integration. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, any more, or have we answered all of them on the chat?
I think all the questions in chat have been answered, unless someone's gonna slide in a question in the last 30 seconds.
Yep. Oh.
Uh, yes, Andrew. Our marketing team will be sending out the recordings to all the attendees, so you will get a copy. And Ruth, again, thank you for coming and supporting us and also sharing the webinar. Amazing product. You're doing great work.
Yeah. And like I said, if you need any help with Mautic, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. We're enable.services, and I'm Joe, and this is
Lord.
Speak soon. Take care.